Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a fun duping the vibes video. Today I am going to try to dupe the vibes of the new Natasha Denona Circo Loco palette. The palette is releasing on Monday, March 15th, so we're just in time for that. And if you know me, you know I'm a big fan of colorful eyeshadows and I don't shy away from them ever, but I have some reserves and unhappiness regarding this palette, so I am definitely not going to purchase it. Now let me talk you through the palette a little bit. This is a 15 pan big size palette, so the size of the gold, for example, and it retails for $129. It will be 129 euros here in Europe probably. And it is a very colorful eyeshadow palette. It's a, let's say, spectrum of purples, oranges, and blues inspired by the circus, and it's Natasha Denona's spring release. Now, I don't know, the first thing I reacted when I saw it was, whoa, that's so confusing. I couldn't even put two looks together, to be honest. Very contrasting, very, I don't know, colors that I didn't think went together in a look that I would wear. I'm sure she can get amazing editorial looks out of it, and she has been publishing on her Instagram quite a few, as well as a quite controversial IGTV on how she was doing makeup on models without a mask. That's a whole other thing, but I'll leave that to professional makeup artists to comment on. For me, the first thing I reacted was, ooh, my brain hurts. Then someone rearranged the palette and I was like, oh, this looks better. But then still, it's orange, blue, and purple, and it's just not for me, not something I can spend 130 bucks on. Let's put it that way. So the natural next thing to do for me is to go and look into my collection of single eyeshadows and try to dupe it. Seems quite straightforward, right? By now, if you've been on my channel for a little while, you know that that's how we do things here. And I've been rushing this a little bit. I'm filming it on Saturday. Hopefully it's out for you on Sunday, so that it's out before the release date. And here is my dupe palette. Not even that hard, to be honest. Of course, as I always say as a disclaimer, I do this for fun. Buying all of these eyeshadows probably will set you back 130 euros as well. But the point is to go into your collection. If you're inspired by a palette that you see and you don't want to spend the money, go into your collection, see what you have. That's the point of this. And because it's fun, I don't know, I like doing these a lot. So here is my eyeshadow palette, and you can see just the color story is just so weird to me. And since I asked you on Instagram how you'd like to do this, I also have a few recommendations of what I would change in this palette and what other colors I would put in instead of all of these. I have to say I'm not particularly inspired by the circus theme, and this is not what I would have ever put together for a palette. It's not my color story at all, so I'll just put a few things here and there to say what I will change, but that will be at the end. So let's start from the top. There are only two special eyeshadow formulas, the cream to powder mattes, in this in the Natasha Denona Circo Loco palette. I watched her live swatches and she mentioned that only the dark teal and the pastel baby blue are of the cream to matte. The rest are regular mattes. So keep that in mind. For the cream to matte, she mentioned, oh, I debuted it in the Metropolis palette. Yes, you did. And in the Metropolis palette, we have a blue and a teal that are in this cream to matte formula. What is positive about this is that these formulas you can really sheer out, like they look really dark in the pan, but you sheer them out quite easily, so you don't need to go that deep into your on your eyes if you don't want it. So a lot of looks that I've seen that I wanted to reinterpret or so that she was doing. With the matte eyeshadow that is very dark, like I picked my matte teal, is a little bit more difficult to achieve, but it's still possible also. I cannot dupe the formula. That is all. Let's get started with these swatches. I will flip you around and put you on my small camera. I feel like that is better than me doing them here. And we'll talk about the dupes. Okay, here we are. This is the palette that I put together. I'm going to start swatching it. My arm is clean and dry, and I'm starting with the orange. This is the shade Cannonball by Colourpop. This here, I think, is a little bit deeper than the one in the palette. The one in the palette seemed really, really bright, and I don't really have a neon bright orange in my collection. So this might be a little bit deeper than the one in the palette. Nevertheless, you've seen on my eyes, it's quite pigmented and bright when you want it. The next one is a Fuchsia Metallic, and I picked also from Colourpop Solstice with the Mostest. This one here has a little bit of a duochrome. I'm gonna have to build it up. I did a bad swatch to start with. It has a little bit of a duochrome, but overall it's a beautiful, very impactful fuchsia. I've used this quite a bit in my what is it, Valentine's Day palettes and things like that. It's a beautiful metallic shade. The Natasha Denona metallic formula is much more impactful than this, so I am not duping the formula. I mentioned this as well. Next up we have the teal, and I picked Time Travel by Makeup Geek. That's my like go-to deep teal shade, so it's no surprise there, but as I showed you, you can probably use something from the Metropolis palette or the teal in the Natasha Denona Gold, or I think again by now we all have teals in our collection. It's not a very revolutionary color. She mentioned that this is one of those cream to powder formulas in her palette, and that she called it a cobalt blue and not a teal, but to be honest, the swatches, it's not a cobalt blue. I don't know what cobalt blue is to her, but what she showed isn't to me. Next up is the shade Zlagier by Glam Shop, and she called it a metallic light blue, and this is very new to my collection. I literally just received it, but it's a beautiful, yeah, it's a light blue, but it has a bit of a silver to it, as you can see. You can go further blue with this, but I don't think the one in her palette is much more blue than this. I think it pulls quite a bit cooler than regular, and it's a beautiful shade, to be honest. Then we have the Pastel Pink, and I picked Makeup Geek Pretty in Pink because it's a nice pastel pink that you can still get your hands on. From the old formula, I had otherwise chosen the shade Sorbet by Makeup Geek, but that you cannot get anymore, and it's a lighter, a little bit warmer, lighter pink. So this is the first row of my dupe palette. Next up is a metallic blue, and my favorite in my collection is Blew My Mind by Makeup Geek. This is one of their old formula eyeshadows. I really hope that they come back out with a lot of these. This is a beautiful, beautiful metallic blue. There's a similar color from Colourpop, and there's Eternity from Nabla, which are similar single eyeshadows that could be also options. Next up is a gold that she called in like a vintage gold. I picked, just because it's new to my collection, from Glam Shop Fortune Teller, which is a turbo eyeshadow, and it's what I have in my inner corner today. And it's just a pretty gold that is not too bright, or yeah, it has a little bit of a different tone to it than a regular gold. Yeah, this is one of these, I don't know, very safe colors that she puts in every single palette of hers. There's a gold in every single palette of hers, which is a little bit disappointing, annoying, what you want to do, what you want to call it. Next up, she called it a bronze. which it isn't in her swatches and in the swatches on her website. There really isn't a bronze. I picked Crackle by Colourpop, which is somewhat a deeper and more neutral orange shimmer, and I really like this one as well. Another shade that you have 1,000 if you have Metropolis, for example, or bronze, or a lot of her palettes have these shade in it, especially these two, like they're everywhere in her palettes. Okay, cleaned my arm, continuing. The next shade up is a Teal Metallic. I picked the shade Lucid by Lethal Cosmetics because it has the most dimension from the teals that I have. It might be slightly lighter than hers, but to be honest, yeah, I don't think that much. There are other shades from Lethal Cosmetics, like Ether, for example, that could be an alternative, but I found it a little bit flatter and darker, so I decided that I liked to add Lucid better. Then she has the second cream to powder, which is a baby blue, a pastel baby blue, and I picked Proxy by Lethal Cosmetics, which is quite pigmented, and she was bragging about how usually baby blues are not pigmented, and yeah, come on, this isn't a cream to powder, this is just a powder. It's very pigmented. It's a beautiful shade, but yeah, these are two shades that you'll probably never catch me use on my eyes, very rarely, and don't ask me why I have them. They're pretty, probably that's the reason. Next up is a bright orange shimmer, and this one right here that I got is Revia. It's a Turbo Glow by Glam Shop again. This is a bit of a topper shade, to be honest, from Glam Shop, and the one in her palette has a bit of a more orange base with a little bit of a gold flip, but I thought this was a fun bright orange to put in and light enough. I think it's getting a little bit of, because my fingers are now stained, it's getting a little bit of blue undertone right there. But you've seen it on my eyes on an orange base, and you'll see the tutorial in a moment, how I created this look. Next up is a very deep blue purple, she called it, which makes me laugh because blurple is something that is a bit of a controversial color description. I picked Motown by Makeup Geek. This is one of the old formulas because it's a cooler tone than the ones that Makeup Geek has now. Not one of my favorite formulas, not one of my favorite colors, and very difficult to make these deep purples that are so cool toned. I don't think this is a nice color for this palette at all, but not my palette, and I didn't choose the colors. Next up is a metallic pastel lavender, she called it, and I have Daydreamer by Makeup Geek for you. This is one of their newer foils. It existed in the old formula as well, and it's a beautiful shiny metallic lavender. Love it. This is a beautiful inner corner or all over the lid shade, especially now for spring. I rarely use purples, but this is one of those that I reach for a lot. Same I can say with the actual purple shimmer that she has in the palette. I picked Spirit by Lethal Cosmetics because it's the purple that I would reach for. She has a much deeper, it's like almost a shimmer version of her deeper purple matte, and I had I think Drama Queen by Makeup Geek of the old ones is similar, but I thought it wouldn't look good. It wasn't fun. This is a fun turquoise color, I find. This is a fun color. Spirit by Lethal Cosmetics. Beautiful purple. And the last shade is a matte fuchsia. I picked Party Drip by Colored Rain because it's my favorite brightest fuchsia. Colourpop has one called Sandbar, I believe, which is a little bit deeper, and it's just gorgeous, really gorgeous. It's what I'm wearing on my lower lash line today. So this was the last one here. I am not 100% happy with the dupe of the deep purple, but because it's not a shade, like a blue purple is not a shade that I wear ever, I don't have something like this. that is more, a little bit more blue, a little bit more indigo than this in depth, and a little bit more performing than this. What I can say now that you've seen the swatches is what I would switch out. Let me clean off my arm and let's discuss that. Okay, here we are. My lighting keeps changing because now we have a downpour, we're in the middle of a storm, whatever, you guys, we're gonna try to go through it. But this is the dupe palette. I'm gonna try to adjust the colors so that you can see them as close as possible. What I would do, as I mentioned, is probably get this guy out. I don't like indigos. This one I wouldn't. And then in place of it is probably put a proper blue. This one here is Color Drain Yacht Life. Love a proper blue in there. And I would also get rid of the two pastels, which I don't like. And the Circus to me isn't really a pastel type of shade. I understand she wanted to make a maybe a little bit innovative, maybe a little bit more spring palette, but you cannot call the Circus your inspiration and then go pastel. I think what you need in a Circus palette is a red and a yellow. I think how that actually makes sense in this palette, I don't know. But to me, a red and a yellow, like, I would call up all of the primary shades for sure, and I don't know if that would work. Probably doesn't look good, but hers doesn't look very good either. And what I'm missing also here is a black, because black and white, black and yellow, that's very circusy to me. So I would pull that in here. Maybe, I'm not sure, either in place of one of the two fuchsias or of one of the two oranges, like that. And then let me see if I can rearrange it in a way that my brain doesn't hurt. There. I think that would be my palette. If I had to go off of what she made, I would do this. And my yellow is Color Drain Lemon Drop. This is Cannonball. This is Color Drain Sauce, which is my favorite red matte. We have Yacht Life that I added, and the black is Nabla Pitch Black. You can use Makeup Geek Corrupt is also a great black. And I just rearranged a few of the other shades. So I would remove these, which, I mean, this trio here is a very beautiful spring. I mean, look at it, it kind of almost matches my nails. It's a beautiful spring color story, but how does it have to do with the Circus? I don't know, not really my favorite, and I think that this would look much better. Do you want me to swatch it? I'll swatch it for you. Here we go. This is my Circus slash, actually it ended up being more of a rainbow type palette in the end, but this is my rearranging, remaking of that eyeshadow palette. Let me know what you think. It's a bit different, definitely something else than what she made. I would probably buy this from Natasha Denona. Imagine having these in the nice, all the mattes in the nice cream to powder formula and her shimmers. I think it would be great. I love her formula, so that's nothing against that. I just don't like this color story that she put together for this palette. So, and let me know if you are interested in buying the palette, or if you like the dupes better, or if you like my version better. I'm very curious to hear different opinions. I know I've heard some people already pre-ordered it, so I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. I hope you enjoyed the Duping the Vibes video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!